This is Duke University.
I'm James Todd with Duke's News Office. Professor Bruce Lawrence is here with us via Skype from Philadelphia, where he is at a conference for a book launch. Professor Lawrence is the Nancy and Jeffrey Marcus Professor of Religion at Duke and is also the author of Messages to the World, the Statements of Osama Bin Laden. It is a collection of English translations of Bin Laden's own statements. So, Professor Lawrence, could you say where were you when you heard the news of Bin Laden's death, and what was your immediate reaction?
I was going out for a morning run. I was up in Philadelphia for this event tonight, where I'm the principal speaker. I was going out for a morning run and staying with a friend of mine, and I was going out the front door. His wife said to me, "Oh, and by the way, Osama Bin Laden has just been killed." And I said, "Yeah, I've heard that before." And she said, "No, it's real this time." So I think what's going to happen, and the most immediate consequence will be there a lot more pressure on our allies, and by that I mean people in Jordan and people in Egypt and people in Morocco, to say there is a better way forward. There are things that we're doing now to make an open, more transparent, quasi-parliamentary system, and that this has to be done in concert with the West, but according to our own Arab/Muslim protocols.
You travel widely in the Middle East and also are fluent in Arabic. What sorts of signs are you going to be looking for as you're reading that reaction?
Well, the first sign I'm going to be looking for is delaying some of my visits until a bit more into the summer, because I think that there will be what we cannot yet determine, but some reaction or some response, not of revenge against Americans, but of targets that are softer than the American personnel, to say, we are signifying the loss of Bin Laden by killing this group or bombing this group. So one of the things one can say now is we don't have to focus so much on the armed response and the drive to eliminate military targets. We now have to build on the model of success that comes more patiently through economic plans and through building alliances within and beyond. And I would say that the next best thing we could do after saying Bin Laden is dead is let's now look at Palestine-Israel and make sure no Bin Ladens come out of the West Bank. And let's make sure that there is a Palestine-Israel relationship which helps both sides, security for Israel, but also a lifeline and a future for Palestine. If we don't go that route, then I think Bin Laden's death will have been a hollow victory.
You're also a Quranic scholar. How could Bin Laden's death be read within Muslim tradition?
That's a great question. I think if one looks at it in terms of the Quran, the one thing one would say is that only God knows the heart of the believer. So none of us knows whether Bin Laden is rewarded or punished for his life. But one has to say that if the actions of the Quran, as the Quran weighs them, there is enough to suggest that one thing that's really going to be held against him, and I'm not speaking now with a divine voice, but only through the voice of the Quran, is you are not supposed to kill the innocents. And one of the things that in my message to the world I said very repeatedly is that when somebody queried him, as he was queried in one of the major interviews about what justification for killing innocents, which happened in 9/11, he didn't have an answer. And when he finally got an answer, it was to say, oh, well, it's only justified when you're completely at the end of your own lifeline, and the person who is assaulting, attacking, threatening to kill you is about to win, then you can kill innocents. Well, I think the Judgment Day doesn't have to wait for the hereafter. There was a difficult moment in the world order after the fall of the Berlin Wall, and I think the big comparison that will be made is between the Arab uprising now and the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989. And Bin Laden, in terms of his record, what will be said about him by most Muslims is he represented a protest, and his values may have been right, but his means were wrong.
Produced by Duke University. Online at duke.edu.